Welcome to another episode of Couchside Conversations. I'm here with my colleague Kevin Rex and Stacey McKinnon, and we're here to talk about work-life balance, which we actually don't believe in, so I'm not really sure why we titled the episode that.
We're going to talk about why we don't believe in it.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually, I think, maybe do a very good job of this because you just got back from Cabo this weekend. I just got back from Tahoe yesterday. And so I feel like we're winning the work-life balance game right now. So this is a perfect time to talk about it.
We're winning, but let's see if we can convince other people that's the case. I know we're aligned, but let's talk through it and see if what we think is actually relevant to others.
Well, I think part of the reason we're winning it is because we gave up on it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it's this fallacy that exists where we are all striving for work-life balance. I think of it like, the Mission Impossible movies where he was always going to try to get win the mission, and then there was somebody one step ahead of him, killing it. That's what pursuing work-life balance feels like to me. It feels almost impossible. And it was interesting because we were reading some statistics for this before this episode, and the statistics said 2/3 of Americans believe basically that work-life balance is impossible. And that really resonates with me.
Yeah, I guess my question is it because employers aren't giving them the room to have work-life balance, or do people not take advantage of just their situations, or they feel guilty, or I want to know what's the reason behind that, because I don't believe that it's just one or the other. I think it's probably a combination of all of those things.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's how do you work somewhere that gives you some freedom and flexibility, but then also you hold yourself to the high standards to achieve the things that you need to achieve. And I think that's something that's interesting that's come out of conversations around this is you have to have a lot of discipline, I think, to have good work-life balance. But I'd be interested to hear your perspective, because as I've explored this, I've really changed my language to be more about achieving presence as opposed to achieving balance. And I think you feel the same.
Yeah, the word balance, just inherently, it's okay, things are equal or things are even, or they're always kind of, fair along the way. And in the world we live in, I don't think that balance is really fully achievable, or at least not in every single moment. There's going to be give and take throughout that. So the word presence for me is really important. So depending on where you are in your life, whether it be with your family or at work, just being fully present. And I also think, though, that presence has gotten so hard. And I don't want to be the generation that's it's so much harder for us than others. But when I think about my parents, my dad finished work at 5:30. And when he came home, he didn't bring work with him. Yeah. He didn't have clients calling him at home. He didn't have a cell phone that's pinging him emails. I mean, every now and then he would bring home a report or whatever to work on it. But he was present. He would walk in the door. We would tackle him. We'd play sports. We'd watch TV. We'd do those things. We do that now, and we have that pull on us where it's hey, how was your day? And your phone's pinging, or someone needs something. So that presence is really, really hard to achieve. And I think now we're fighting that more than ever.
It's you're fighting three things. You're fighting work, life, and tech.
Yeah, and tech's the hardest one.
It's a little sneaky samurai that came in from the side to attack us, because it's true. And I think it's been medically proven that it's an addictive thing to look at our phones, and that's been really, really challenging to overcome, I think.
Yeah, and you just talk about being in Cabo. We're in Cabo looking on Instagram about other people's vacation. Hey, look, they're on vacation too. And it's wait, just being even present when you're in this beautiful place with the people you love. And so it's that tech always kind of in your ear of what else is out there, what else can I be doing? And there's always something else you can be doing. So that balance is really hard to achieve. And so that's why I think we'll talk a lot about presence today.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, I think setting expectations is a really big deal. So with your family, with work, how do you set expectations around just being present, or where your time and energy is going to be focused?
Well, it's interesting because we joked about winning the work-life balance game, because I feel like I'm winning right now. Yeah, but it's one of those things where it goes through ebbs and flows. But one of the reasons I think I win sometimes is that I communicate to the people most importantly what I'm doing and why. So I just spent a little time in Tahoe, and I communicated to everyone at work, hey, I'm in Tahoe, I'm with my husband. This is important for me to have that time to get away and to really enjoy the summer there, but then also just, I think, enjoy time with my spouse. That's something that's really important to me. But now I'm back. My husband's actually still in Tahoe, but I'm here. And I'm basically you probably won't hear from me because I'm here and I'm working and I'm in the game and I'm here. So I find that compartmentalizing is really helpful for me. It's just basically admitting where I am is the most important place for me to be. And as long as everybody in my life knows that it's important, it can't fight me on it. Where I've gotten in trouble with work-life balance before is when I don't tell people, where I'm working extra hard, but my husband made dinner and I don't make it home for dinner, something like that as an example, where that's where I feel the guilt. And he's really nice and lovely about it, but I feel so guilty. But if I tell him in the morning, hey, I'm home late, then I don't have anything to feel guilty about. So sometimes I think that communication is actually the way through like those guilt over where should I be and when.
Yeah, communication, expectations, because you can say, I'm going to go be present at work, and he can say, okay, well, then I'm just going to stay in Tahoe and hang out, not go home and you be present and me be home by myself. The one thing that I struggle actually most with is I'm at work and my family, I'll come out of a meeting and I'll have 70 missed text messages. And the text messages are like, hey, we want to set up this birthday dinner. Who can do 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock or Saturday or Friday? Yeah. And here they are, they can't move on with their plans unless I communicate what my family's doing, but I'm also at work. And so I feel this guilt around not getting back to them, but setting expectations. Hey guys, between 8 and 5, it's best effort. Yeah. Like I am going to do my best to get back to you, but there's days where I don't look at my phone because, as you know, you get busy. And as long as they know that, they might still get mad at me, but or feel like, hey, why can't you get back to me? But at the same time, I'm like, look, I've set that expectation and I've communicated that. So I think that you're absolutely right. So getting that up front allows you to be very present on the other side of things.
So interesting. I actually took my Apple Watch off because I was like, I need to control my phone. My phone cannot control me, right? Like there's a point at which you're kind of like, this is so intense, the amount of communication coming in.
And you're just like, okay, yeah. You're
not
talking,
present.
Oh, yeah. It just pings at you, and it's like, the best part is it's like, oh, there's a storm cloud over Simi Valley. Like, here we are, like, helping people manage my, like that's the worst thing is just be pulled in all these different directions, or you're spending time with your husband, and you're like, oh, okay, like what? Yeah, so I think that's a great way.
Yeah, you got to like put it away. And I think even I've made this habit lately of when I go out to eat at restaurants, I leave my phone locked in the car, just so when I'm like with people, whoever I'm with, I don't even have the temptation to pick it up because it's like this weird thing that we have where we want to pick it up all the time. I'm like, I'm just going to lock it in the car. But what really annoys me is when you then go to the restaurant and it's a QR code for the menu. And you're like, my phone's in the car.
Can I get the paper one? Like looking at you, and how old are you? That is funny.
I know. Well, interesting that you talked about spending time with your family, because one of the things that I struggle through is like this guilt. And I have a puppy. I don't have kids, but my puppy likes to throw toys at me. And so if I'm working from home, which I did work a little bit in Tahoe last week, she comes in and she just like tosses toys at me, and I feel so much guilt. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dog wants to play. But then I also have like a lot that I need to achieve. You deal with this. You have 3 kids and a spouse and family, a big family. Like, how do you manage the guilt that comes along with like having to say no sometimes?
And you can't set expectations with your dog.
Yeah,
hey, this is work time. Please stop.
She does not get that.
It goes back to the balance versus presence. Like, I don't think that my family or my children expect all of my time. But I think what they do expect is that when I'm with them, that they're getting all of me. And they know when you're not engaged. They know when you're asking them about their day, or we were just in Cabo, we missed all their sporting events. And when I came back and sat down and just said, tell me about your game, and we were fully engaged in that, and they could light up and tell me the stories, not that they didn't care it wasn't there, I think they cared a lot less that I had missed it, because they got to engage and share that with me, versus like on the phone swiping while they're talking to you. But you do feel that pull and that guilt. And fortunately, my kids are getting old enough now where I can say, look, I'm going on this trip for work. I'm not going to be here, but this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing it. I think there's a lot of lessons in that for our family about working hard, but then also putting, like you said, locking the phone away. We get in the car and the first thing they want is they want an iPad. And I'm like, wait, no, we have you captive. How can we engage with each other without having electronics? But then you look at my wife or me, whoever's in the passenger seat, never in the driver's seat, but like here we are on our phones. Like it's setting that example. How can we let our children see it, that being present is the most important thing? But you feel that guilt all the time. And so that's why if you can give them your full attention, you feel less guilty about the times that you aren't there.
And I think you shared something with me too, where sometimes you even tell them things like, it's important for your mom or your dad to work in these ways. And then it's important for us to be here with you in these ways. And even teaching them and setting an example of like, work doesn't have to be not with them. Sometimes work can be an example of what they'll have to do in life one day, or how they'll have to be present, or sacrifices that they'll have to make for their family. And I actually think those are important lessons as well, because I think that teaches a lot of resiliency.
Yeah, it's really important. I think it's the biggest job that I feel like the most important job is raising my children. And this is not getting emotional, but I do get emotional over it. I was reading the stat, and I even verified it. 90% of the time that we spend with our kids is before age 18, but then 90% of that time is by age 12. So it's over like 75% of the time I'm ever going to spend with my kids is age 12, and mine are 11, 10, and 6, and so it's going by, and I don't know, that really pulls on my heartstrings. It really is like, okay, we'll get a lot of quality time in the future, and I really hope that my children are the ones that stay close by, but like, you never know. And so all those things that you miss, or not even the things you miss, but what we're talking about is the things that you're there, but you're not present, you're actually missing that. And so trying to be that example for them and trying to engage in a way that's meaningful, I think matters a lot. The other piece of this though is, but then what about like taking care of Stacey or taking care of Kevin? Like what about the me time or making sure that you're kind of not just work and everybody else, but what about you?
Well, I think this is probably where I like fail the work-life balance game the most, is because I feel that it's easy to sacrifice yourself, right? It's hard to say this is time spent with me, because time feels like a limited resource. So if I'm not spending it in my work life, it feels like I want to like make sure that I'm spending it in my family life just to balance it out. I think that this is something though that's maybe the most important thing that gets missed a lot, is that it is important to have your own space. It is important to have your own time. And when I do it best, it's actually when I wake up early. Like if I'm able to go to bed early and then wake up usually between 5:30 and 6 and have an hour to myself where I can work out, I can have a cup of coffee, I can like relax, I can listen to music. If I have a moment, the rest of my day is better. And what's so interesting about like sleeping, sometimes we're like, oh, we need the sleep, but sometimes you like need the wake up to like take a moment to not just be rushed and running into the rest of your day. And my best days are the days that I wake up at 5:30 and I have that moment and I answer emails and I set myself up for success. And so I found that finding me time is just managing my time a little bit better. And there's a term in psychology called pre-deciding. I pre-decide that I'm waking up early and I'm going to do these things. Because if you make decisions in the moment, it's easy for you to like talk yourself out of it.
Especially in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 30 more minutes sounds a lot nicer. Yeah.
But if you pre-decide, hey, if I do these things, then I'm set up for success, I think that it makes it go a lot smoother. I know that you do this too, but in the form of like kind of being with friends as well.
Me time is never just me. Yeah. I don't know if I'm weird or I don't know. I'm sure there's someone else out there like this, but I really don't like being alone. Like I get fulfilled, I get reinvigorated by spending time with people. And so I do need time to set myself up for success. And I'm a big believer in, okay, that extra 15 minutes of sleep or 15 minutes of just setting your day up is so important. Yeah. But for me, it's usually more like I play adult basketball. And if you ask any of the guys on the team, the basketball's fun, but what it really is, it's just a group of guys poking fun at each other and laughing and talking about our days. And to me, it is making me feel so much better about just like my life. And we talk about work, we talk about, family, we talk about everything. And to me, that is like me time. I'm not at work, I'm not with my kids, but it's kind of something that I selfishly do. And it's hard because there'll be a soccer practice or there'll be something else. So to kind of hold the accountability to myself of, but Kevin, you've committed, you want this or you need this, that gets hard too, because that's when the dad guilt kind of pops back in, or it's really easy to say, oh, I have a work meeting. So really trying to find that balance that we're never going to find, but like doing something that's like pressure free in some ways, even though there's probably a little pressure to win the game. We put a lot of pressure. Yeah. No one cares until you start playing, and then it's like, oh, this every game is like the NBA championship. It's a lot of fun.
But it's something that brings you joy, and I think just finding time where you get that little bit of joy is so important.
I feel relaxed, even though others probably would say that's not relaxing. And even I'll get a massage if I feel tense, or like there are things that I do for myself. I'm not great at taking time to myself, but I guess those are the selfish things that I engage in.
Yeah, I love that.
In the world we live in today, there's this battle between like working from home or working at the office, and people think that by working at home, you can probably achieve a much better work-life balance because you're not commuting, you save that time, or you're not engaging in conversations around the office, so you have more time. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I know you're a big believer in kind of how offices are set up and how culture is run, but what are your thoughts on having a work-life balance because there's the work from home mentality?
Well, I think it's an interesting like problem to solve, because I actually think that the bigger thing people want is flexibility. They want the ability to do other things if they really need to. And I think that's actually a little bit more important than working from home. And the reason that working from home is conflicting for me is that I find myself multitasking when I work from home. I find myself, okay, I can do a little laundry. I can do this thing right here. I can do that thing right there. But what happens is I like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. And there's a term called context switching, where when you do that, you actually like lose about 10 to 15% of your day in productivity when you're like stop, start, stop, start. And then it's also very conflicting at the end of the day. Like, when do I shut my computer off? Because it kind of feels like I didn't have that transition back home. When I'm here in the office, I have a 20-minute commute, and that 20-minute commute actually like changes my mindset to be somewhere else than where I was. And so I think that working from home isn't like all that it's cut up to be, but also I think being in the office all the time maybe it could be exhausting for some people, especially if you're more introverted as well. And so what we've done at Morton is we're here Monday through Thursday, 9:30 to 3:30. That's like 6-hour core blocks. And I love that because it gives us the time together to like really, I think, work as a team, which is important to us. Yeah. But then it also gives people the flexibility to do a workout in the morning or coach a kids soccer game at night. Like, I think that with work-life balance and being present where you are, it's also important to have some flexibility, but too much flexibility, I don't know that that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think people think work-life balance is, oh, I can travel when I want, or I can go on vacation all the time. Like, for me, it really comes down to that flexibility. It's being able to go to the kids' assembly or the doctor's appointment and still get your work done. And I know for both of us, I'll get emails from you at 6 a.m. or emails from you at 9 p.m. Like, your work day isn't just 8 to 5, but I also know that there's times at 11 o'clock you have something personal that you want to do, or you're at an event that you want to partake in. Like, it's getting the work done and having the flexibility to kind of set your schedule that, to me, gives us the best balance, but also allows us to be the most present. Yeah. So that's it. It's really a big deal to have that flexibility, and I'm grateful to be at a company that gives that to us.
I think I am too. I mean, like, I think at the end of the day, being somewhere that hears us, but then also makes decisions for what does the team need. I think sometimes when you have too much of a work from home environment, it ends up being more me than we. And I think that we do a really good job of like having the core we time, but then also giving people some space for the me time.
It's, people love being here. And I actually do think that there's some inefficiency around being in the, I mean, I'm probably the,
you
probably.
You might cause some
I'm definitely the worst. Yeah. Like, I will leave for a meeting 10 minutes before the meeting, and it's only up, down the hall, and I'm still late. But
you're the hallway guy.
Okay, I'll take it. But I do. If I'm at home and I'm like, it's not the time that I'm spending is, oh, that shelf is dusty, or oh, I need to fix that, and like, at least when I'm distracted at work, there's like at least I think there's like
you're a very big cultural benefit that like is Kevin being in the hallway.
Yeah. So there's that fun. It's motivating. You hear the stories. I mean, just who I am as a person, I could never work from home, but I also just don't think that gives the balance that people think it would.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. This was fun. Maybe we'll change the title of the episode to like presence, why it matters. No more work-life balance.
And we can do it from a remote destination.
You're like, I'll go to Cabo. We'll film this next time, part 2. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, well, let's play our favorite game, this or that.
Love it.
Okay, so first question for you. Would you rather catch up on work early in the morning or late at night?
So I prefer early in the morning. I would love to get up and do that, but my wife does it late at night. So I do it at night with her because that's kind of our time together, but my preference would be in the morning, but she's not getting up. So
good call.
Hope she doesn't hate me for that. Okay, so for you, if you could snap your fingers and have either 50 emails cleaned out of your inbox.
50 emails cleaned out of your inbox.
Oh, not even the other? Or
what's
your
the
whole
other?
house deep cleaned.
Okay, still 50 emails? Yeah, I think I have email anxiety. I'm that person that every day starts their day with 0 emails in their inbox just so that I clean slate it, yeah.
You'd have so much more time if you just did.
Next question for you. Would you rather have a full-time nanny or housekeeper?
So I have a full-time nanny, and I would not be able to live without her. So I can't. So like, I would have cut it short. It's going to be a nanny. Yeah. So I don't know what I would do.
That makes sense.
Okay, for you, would you rather have a digital calendar or a paper planner?
Oh, a digital calendar. I remember when I started my career, every day I would write my notes, and whenever I got done on the to-do list, then I would just the next day come and then I'd have to rewrite it. And I care about efficiency way too much for that. I need like a digital calendar where I can like move tasks.
You're doing the same thing, but you're just dragging it versus rewriting
exactly,
it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Couchside Conversations. We hope you enjoyed the content. There's a lot of other great episodes, so please check them out.
Wow.